Pro-life activists just made a legitimately horrifying discovery in Washington, D.C. They said they intercepted more than 100 aborted children that are being transported in biohazard containers. There's a local news report on that.
Lauren Handy and I went to Washington Surgery Center to engage in anti-abortion advocacy. Upon arrival, we saw a truck labeled Curtis Bay Medical Waste Services parked outside. We approached the driver, who was about to load 2 large boxes with biohazard symbols onto his truck. We asked him if he knew what was in the boxes, and after he said no, we told him, dead babies. The driver was visibly shaken.
The group told reporters there were 110 first trimester aborted fetuses that they buried with the help of a Catholic priest. The remaining 5 fetuses were kept at Handy's apartment. The activists said they coordinated with attorneys to alert the D.C. homicide unit about the location of the fetuses.
So that story is so awful that no one who supports those practices wants to talk about the details because they can't defend them, so they try to suppress the entire thing. So the mayor of Washington, D.C. and her police department are now refusing to investigate whether any laws were broken by the people who committed these abortions and then disposed of the bodies. Lila Rose is the president of the pro-life group Live Action. She joins us tonight. Lila, thanks so much for coming on. This is the kind of thing where you're not supposed to talk about the details because once you do, it sort of jars people into reality. Wait, that's allowed?
Yeah, I mean, it's devastating. The 5 children whose remains are in the possession of the D.C. police and the D.C. medical examiner's office, nearly all of them appear to be viable. One boy appears to be almost full term, this beautiful intact little baby boy that was dumped in a medical waste bucket. Tucker, one little girl, estimated by experts who looked at the documentation of this little baby girl's body, looked to be about 28 to 30 weeks old enough to survive outside the womb. That little girl, her neck had been cut, her brain had been suctioned out, and she had been thrown into a medical waste bucket as well. I mean, it's one little girl, another girl, maybe, again, 28 weeks old as well, was dismembered, possibly well alive, torn into pieces. It's devastating, and that's why these activists and Live Action and others are calling on D.C. police to investigate, because these children could have been born outside the womb, could have survived outside the womb. There may be federal laws that were violated here, laws that prohibit partial birth abortion, laws that prohibit leaving a born alive infant to die. And Live Action's been investigating this abortion clinic in particular in D.C. that does these horrific late-term abortions. And we found the abortionist admitting on undercover camera that he would leave an infant to die in his facility if a child was born alive. So this is happening in full sight of the authorities, and yet no action has been taken.
Well, certainly moral laws were violated. Just in one sense, do you have any idea how the ghouls who commit these crimes and support them have seized the moral high ground in our national conversation?
I mean, it's the incredible dishonesty of media that is working to protect abortionists here, the killers of human beings, children who deserve love and to be held instead of be thrown away like medical waste. And the media is covering for them. Authorities are covering for them. Kermit Gosnell, an abortionist in Philadelphia, operated illegally for 30 years, 3 decades, before authorities finally did their job, and now he's behind bars. This abortionist in Washington, D.C., who killed these 5 children and thousands others should be behind bars as well. And so we're urging on the D.C. mayor to do her job as well as authorities. Listen, Tucker, this is the American horror story. It is the American horror story that no one wants to talk about, but it is our children, our most vulnerable, and they deserve love and protection.